The Swiss psychoanalyst Carl Gustav Jung theorized about what he called the shadow self. And put very simply, and it's a complex subject, but one important aspect of the shadow is that it's like within each of us there lurks a caged animal, and the animal is frustrated and restless and resentful. And there's a right way and a wrong way to let that animal out of its cage.
That's devil talk!
Well, only insofar that all the major world religions are in denial of it, even Eastern philosophy to a certain extent.
Eastern philosophy is the devil too. It's all the devil. You're the devil.
Well, I just don't talk to guys like you. You get too overexcited.
Don't you call me overexcited, boy. I'm the Lord your God Almighty.
But Joe, you are not God.
I am too, and don't you call me Joe.
Well, Jehovah seems so formal.
I call him a hellbound blasphemous sinner, and these videos abominations to my holy name.
Oh, settle down, Joe. Take another nap.
Always it's about women.
Yeah, scenes from the old YouTube videos I used to make with Neil Fox, the Lucifer series back in the early 21st century. Well before you or our patient were born, Doctor.
What are these particular pictures about?
They're all of one woman, actress Mary Philbin, a movie star from the American silent film era. All different looks from a single motion picture, the Phantom of the Opera.
Really? It looks like different women.
Miss Philbin was playing an opera singer who was supposed to have been playing different roles in different productions.
I surmise by his video antics that your friend Fox had a special fascination for performers who assumed different looks.
Yes, he did. The star of the Phantom of the Opera, Lon+Chaney, was one of his childhood idols, known as the Man with 1,000 Faces, the consummate makeup artist of his generation. A legendary figure.
So why all this visual tribute to the leading lady and not to Chaney?
Oh, the video had plenty of shots of Chaney. Due to the nature of U.S. copyright law, it was entirely legal to take any image from the film that we pleased, which was rare in our experience on YouTube, to take freely from a film production.
Well, these days people put whatever they like on YouTube, don't they?
People who don't care about getting their account closed always have, yes. But past the first 250,000 views, Fox became more careful about content. Besides, he was always reasonably careful to begin with. No swearing, no nudity, and this about copyright and all of that.
Yeah, you always had people flagging you, right?
Yes, that's a problem others never have, which is why so many get away with so much. But we were not in that position. If we broke any rules, the staff would hear about it eventually.
Well, why the Phantom of the Opera?
Well, it relates to our last session, Doctor, where we discussed the Abel Ferrara film, The Addiction.
Yeah, we discussed my patient's compulsion to talk obsessively about the subject of higher consciousness.
Yes, your patient, Bashara Durian, the one with whom you are having relations.
Why do you always do that? Announce Bashara's name like that and then remind me of my past indiscretions with her?
Ongoing indiscretions taking advantage of a very disturbed woman, Doctor. And I could easily ask why you always open by calling her your patient rather than speaking her name.
I speak her name often enough. I just want you to know that I consider you a fragment of her multiple personality disorder speaking through her, okay?
In a man's voice.
I haven't figured that part out yet. But like I keep saying, she's not our patient, as you sometimes put it. She's my patient. And no, I'm not proud of our relationship, okay? I'm working that out.
You're a married man.
And I'm trying to work it out. Enough of this. Someone claiming to be a demon judging me. It's ridiculous. I've made a mistake. Well, you're evil incarnate, right?
Hardly. I am the reality behind most any pagan entity when it is as personalized as it is with me. A form of psychic artificial intelligence. neither good nor bad. I only call myself a demon because it amuses me to take up what tradition would make of me.
Never mind all that. You're some male fragment in my patient's psyche trying to express something she herself cannot express directly.
Speaking of which, let's get back to the Phantom of the Opera, shall we?
What's that got to do with anything?
I'm getting to that. Now, if you'll recall, you'll remember that I pointed out the fact that as preoccupied with higher brainwave consciousness as Bashara can be, the more she talks the subject to its death, the farther away from the reality of it she becomes.
But what's it got to do with the Phantom of the Opera?
Well, as you know, Bashara's breakdown was only partly over her frustration with her meditations. The other half of the equation concerns the fact that she is a writer of suspense and mystery novels, and quite well known on that account.
Yeah, that seems positive enough.
Yes, all quite functional. It allowed her a conscious escape into a fictional realm where crimes get solved and the heroine ends up with the man of her dreams. But all this fell apart with her unfinished attempt to write a Jack the Ripper story. With that one, she could not manage to find a convincing way to her trademark happy ending. She got stuck. The emotional realism of her stories took over, but without the promise of a happy ending, the realism became too much like staring down real life, and, I might add, real death. Always a very iffy area for Bashara. This found her suddenly more intent than ever to get over herself, to re-experience the one genuine transcendental moment she had ever had in life. But as is always the case with her, the more intent she was on it, the more it eluded her. Round and round it went, until finally she started hearing voices.
Oh, come on. She overdosed on a cybernetic drug known to trigger schizophrenic episodes. That's what happened.
The one drug experience was just a catalyst, and once it wore off, the after effects would have been behind her in a few weeks. But here she still sits in your institution these last 3 years.
Admittedly, other issues joined to the drug overdose.
Inarguably. But let's get back to your original question. You want to know what Bashara is saying down deep, having me as her demon. Well, let us consider the plot of the Phantom of the Opera. A young character named Christine is raised by a kindly musical grandfather who fills her head with fairy stories. She is a very naive country girl who takes it all literally. As a young adult, she enters the chorus for the Paris Opera House. Here she starts hearing a gentle, compelling voice through the wall of her dressing room. The voice promises to instruct her in the ways of becoming a brilliant singer. The voice will make her a star someday. Christine imagines the voice as that of the angel of music, often described by her grandfather.
Sounds like another drug problem, if you ask me.
It might have given the story more reality to have Christine on drugs, yes. The silent movie version suggested that she was entranced by the voice and that the author of the voice, the Phantom, was a master of the black arts. In any case, the voice becomes Christine's mentor, and one day she gets a lucky break and subs for the star of a production who is out sick. Of course, the Phantom has secretly made sure that the star got sick, and of course, Christine's performance is a smashing success.
And this mirrors Bashara's commercial success as a writer? Who then, in your view, would be the voice leading her on?
I was that voice doctor from as early as Bashara's college days, but not literally. She heard no actual disembodied voice when she was attending Fullerton State. Instead, she had a turbulent affair with the impossible man who was her creative writing teacher. He was something of a modern update on Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights. Devilishly good-looking, uninhibited, magnetic, defiant, passionate, but needless to say, difficult to live with.
She projected her male shadow side on him. Is that what you're suggesting?
Of course she did. As much as she finally came to loathe him, she at first secretly envied him his lack of inhibition, his acid wit, even his self-indulgence. And I went with that.
And this is what motivated her to strive to be a better writer?
His impact on her haunted her ever after to strive to improve her skills, to prove something to herself and to him that she was not just someone who enjoyed droning on and on about higher consciousness.
In other words, she needed a more honest narrative.
Exactly. You see, she had very disguised ego needs that were poisoning her rap on consciousness. Better to put those needs into writing stories that she knew to be pure escapism.
You gave her permission to play, is that it? To make escape her profession?
If you but knew the ultimate reality of things, you would realize that escape is any earthling's profession, Doctor, one way or another. But yes, It was all unconscious, of course. I nudged her in dreams and quietly kibitzed beneath the usual stream of her conscious thoughts.
You were her phantom.
I was the constructive, mentoring aspect of her phantom, Doctor, but no less as much a force for overcoming and reintegrating as the destructive side.
The destructive side. Who is the destructive side?
The voices that finally took over, naturally.
Especially the main voice, I suppose.
Yes, Doctor. Jack the Ripper.
I knew that's where this was going.
She is caught between two aspects of a phantom that are ultimately but a reflection of her own conflict with herself. The same as I was talking about when I mentioned the situation with the astronauts in the novel Solaris by Stanislaw Lem. Each of them had to deal with a reflection of themselves drawn from their psyches. Demons, as it were, unique to their individual conflicts in life. You see, in another host, I would assume another personality. But as it is, I am all that the destructive side is not. Cool, calm, collected. The knowing mentor, the secret admirer from afar. All of it very safe, very instructive, in fact, even at times reassuring. But without the right balance, it all becomes the same nightmare depicted in the Phantom of the Opera, where the phantom is always abducting the girl and giving her ultimatums. Very false ultimatums that condemn her either way.
There you have it, America. The Lucifer series wants everybody to make like Jack the Ripper.
Oh, give me a break. It's a creative thing, not a destructive thing. It's about processing a part of yourself that's feeling caged in, boxed in, repressed.
That's the devil inside wanting out. That's why you're on your way to perdition, boy. You'll burn forever like most of the rest of the human race. And don't none of you sinners beg for mercy on the day of judgment. I'll just laugh. You hear me? I'll just laugh at you down there, screaming in agonizing pain. All the billions upon billions of souls that never got born again, shrieking in eternal torment. I'll just laugh. I'll just laugh. Just laugh. I just laugh.